There is no specific start to when specialized journalism came into existence. It is not uncommon for people who have a specific expertise to write about what they know. So, technically speaking, specialized journalism has been around since the beginning of journalistic media. When a journalist has a set topic that he or she has studied, they become more credible as a source of information. That's the key to specialized journalism. It adds credibility to the field that typically reporters may lack. Another key to specialized journalism is how it evolves throughout history. As American culture interests progress throughout time, specialized journalism evolves simultaneously in order to stay relevant.
Specialized newspapers started gaining popularity during times of change and uneasiness in America. Many small, specialized newspapers brought light to readers regarding major controversies in American culture. The abolitionist movement, in particular, was an issue of great concern and critical interest. The Emancipator was the first abolitionist newspaper, founded in 1819 by Elihu Embry in Jonesboro, Tennessee. The paper was known for celebrating those who freed their own slaves and publicly criticizing the horrifying conditions slaves suffered in. Although spreading messages we'd considered enlightened today, people at the time were not so accepting. Many were angered by these newspapers, forcing the ethical questioning of slavery into the media. Abolitionist papers were banned in many areas, primarily in the South. At one point, the Villages Association in Columbus, South Carolina, offered a money award of $1,500 to anyone who would speak out and identify distributors of The Liberator, another renowned abolitionist paper. Today, that would be over $2,600. Revolt escalated into violence quickly. Offices were burnt to the ground, editors were attacked, and some even lost lives. Elijah Parrish Lovejoy, an abolitionist newspaper editor in Alton, Illinois, was murdered by a pro slavery mob attempting to destroy his press materials. These specialized papers may not have been well received, but played an important role in sparking necessary change. As newspapers grew to a much larger scale, becoming more of a corporate engine, they used specialized journalism to coin the term beat reporting. Newspapers were becoming big business and naturally competitive in nature, as capitalistic America promotes. Charles E. Chapin was editor of The World, a New York daily newspaper owned by the Pulitzer family. While Chapin's name ultimately ended up being associated with the convicted murder of his wife, it is lesser known that he revolutionized newspaper reporting with the concept of beat reporting. The term beat originally refers to a usual road or path taken by a person on a regular basis. In accordance with this concept, beat reporters for newspapers are reporters who are regularly assigned to specific areas and or topics in the city and becoming masters in that topic. Over 100 years ago, the World published up to 9 times a day without any beats. But while under stress to keep up with competition, Chapin came to the epiphany of specializing his journalists into beat reporters. Chapin literally took a map of the city and drew checkerboard lines all over it. He would then go to each reporter and tell them, "You are in charge of everything that occurs in this 3 or 4 block area." The telephone invention, new at this time, was critical for Chapin's epiphany. Recognizing how valuable telephones are for immediate information, Chapin filled the World's newsroom with telephone booths. Reporters and eyewitnesses would call into these telephones with new and exciting information regarding the happenings in the city. He then assembled a rewrite desk with star writers to sit at these telephones, file all the information beat reporters were calling in with, and write it into a story that successfully made the public want to pick up their paper. Chapin changed journalism because by having reporters master their specific topic, beats turned into a source of reliable facts. The articles were credible.
In the late 1800s, specialized magazines began to grow in popularity because people were becoming more educated and started taking interest in academia and professionalism. Hence, specialized magazines geared toward intellectuals and professionals with specific interests started growing in popularity with very specific and different groups of people. Specialized magazines service niche groups. Science magazines were some of the first specialized magazines in America. Both American Journal of Science, founded in 1818, and Scientific American, founded in 1845, still publishes today. In the 1900s, non-academic magazines began to grow in popularity as well. These are types of specialized journalism that are focused towards people's popular interests rather than their academic interests, such as science or history. Some common types of these magazines include Parroting and Sports Illustrated. A writer for Time tried to stop the publication of Sports Illustrated because he considered sports news to not be relevant enough to be considered journalism. The interesting part about Sports Illustrated is that it was started by someone who was not even a sports fan, named Henry Luce. Parenting Magazine is a subscription-based magazine that attracted interest from new parents looking for help with their new child. An interesting fact about Parenting is that they had a competition for the cutest baby that would win $125,000 and be placed on the cover of the magazine. These types of specialized journalism required subscriptions and ads to make their money.
In today's day and age, with the internet just a few clicks away and 24/7 news cycle service, credibility has become extremely important to the reader. In the future of specialized journalism, the journalist will have to become progressively more credible. The reason for this is because without credibility, the reader doesn't know what he or she is reading is true or false. And with the internet accessible from anywhere from today's readers, they will be able to look up a new specialized source who could be more credible than the other. As technology continues to advance, so will the need for specialized reporting. Ultimately, news in specialized fields will get better if it is coming from more and more highly credible sources.